You can get whatever you want, but you don't know what you want. So you push this button, and nothing happens. I just get the knowledge of what I want. Well, have fun with that, Stefan. That's not the question. This isn't an offer on the table. You'll live forever, but your mind will eventually rot, leaving you as an undead being. Yet you cannot walk, only breathe. Fantastic question. Man, I don't know what I would do. Live my normal life, but die when it's my time to go. Or live, but not be allowed to do anything. Sometimes, I wonder if people who make these put any amount of time into thought. Just present the immortality question in its most simplest form. You're immortal, but you're immortal. Like, that in itself is a trade-off. Some people think when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Some people want to live forever and would be fine with watching everyone they love die. But at least there's a conversation to be had there. But no, we gotta put a little more thought into it. Well, what if you're immortal, but like all the salads you ever eat are like a little bit slimy? There's supposed to be a trade-off here, right? It's supposed to be like, you get a good thing, but a bad thing happens. But instead you have questions like this. Become a Time Lord, like from Doctor Who. But you can only regenerate 10 times. Let me rephrase this for you. Become some, like, crazy space wizard. I don't know about Doctor Who. And you get to live 10 times. Instead of your current form where you're not a crazy space wizard and you only live once. So, like, I know, realistically speaking, I don't really want to live 10 times. When it's my time to go, it's my time to go. But, like, from an optimal standpoint, why would anyone choose no to this? Another one that just isn't a trade-off. You can shapeshift. Can. Not have to, but can. But you can only turn into a couch, a lamp, a pair of shoes, a backpack, a beetle, or a decapitated chicken. The situations in which you want to turn into those things is fairly slim, even though I'd like to do one of them right now. But again, it's like, you get a superpower. It might be lame, but it is a superpower. There's no downside to this. This isn't would you push the button. This is, guys, you want free superpower? Free superpower here. Except you can't. It's an app. Nothing in this app is real. Sticky, sticky. That's, yeah, right? Would you push the button is filled with two things. Okay, well, three things. It's Granger? Granger? Put Granger to work for you. Is that Granger? You gonna fix my car for me, or what? But there's only two people that post questions here. There's the dudes, and they always post stuff like, you get to be like a Super Saiyan. Well, big stinky farts, or something really dumb like that. Men have problems. Or there's the 16-year-old girls, because that's all who uses this app besides that, and they always put the stuff like, you can save cancer, but your crush will never love you. And that's what this app has become. And then there's unspecific ones. You will get whatever superpower you want, but you have no bloody idea how to use it. For one thing, to British people, I'm sorry, I think that's a pretty offensive swear. Second off, it doesn't specify, like, will you be able to figure out how to use it, or is it you always don't know how to use it? In which case, what's the point of this? But if you can figure out how to use it, this is, again, a zero downside. You just live in your normal life, but you have some kind of a superpower. Maybe you'll figure it out. Either way, whichever of the two options this question is supposed to be, they suck! Press the button. Did it work? Welcome to the game. I forgot about the third people in this game as the players, and they're all like 3 and me. You become all-knowing / know everything, but you can't share the information with others. Again, like, there's no downside to this. The people making the question are supposed to be like, well, you get the superpower. The downside is that you can't use the superpower very well. But it's like, that's not a downside. Will you push the button is supposed to be like, will you switch lives for this trade-off? So the better way to put this question would have been like, alright, you know everything, but you can't use the word the and or something, right? Like, then there's an actual drawback to choosing it, but otherwise it's just another limited superpower. Why would anyone not push yes? I mean, I don't think am I delusional here? I just don't get any of this. Wow, Lucy didn't show me a TikTok. I mean, it's a pretty lame ad, but I'll take it. You will become Batman, but this includes the loss of family, lack of emotional connection, blah blah blah. You just become Batman, right? Someone in the comments brilliantly caught on to this. So I would become Batman and be just like Batman. Yes, that's the question. No, you would be an idiot. Oh my gosh. At least this question's worth thinking about for 2 seconds before I move on.
So when I started this life, I only wanted one thing. After the horrible rejection, I turned a new leaf. I took off my bows and decided I would be a little more hardcore. They say there's a reason for everything, right?
I don't believe you. A universal language replaces all languages of the world, but the language is Latin. Is this a slam against Latin? What's wrong with Latin? It's probably better than English.
Oh no, the treasure's gone. Try again.
Man, this guy's got to get a life. He's getting worked up over a mobile game. Imagine Imagine getting worked up over some user-based mobile program that you download on BlueStacks. Outrageous. See, like, this is one of the ones the teenage girls would have written. You have the power to heal any wound on other people, no matter how serious, as long as that person is still alive. But your wounds no longer heal. Like, how selfless am I, man? Of course, I would sacrifice for if anyone will get This is even dumber than the one that I wrote back there. Canada becomes a global empire, but donuts are illegal. I mean, I'm not saying that this is supposed to be inherently a bad thing, because I really can't tell. Donuts are illegal. Am I missing an inside reference here? You have the power to teleport anywhere in the world, but every time you do it, 10 million random people are suddenly killed. I kind of feel like that's not very well balanced. I think there needs to be a day one patch for this question. You can read people's minds. Nope. See, like, both of these are bad. People always bring up this reading minds argument, right? As if it's some crazy thing, like, oh, if I could have any superpower, I just want to read people's minds. Imagine the advantages you could have in the world and all the problems you could solve. You wouldn't want to do that. Humans have very primitive brains that think very primitive things without a filter. That's just how, tends to be the default of how human brains work. Sometimes you're walking down the street and you see a big building and you just think to yourself, what if that building just randomly exploded? Doesn't mean that you want it to happen. Your brain just goes to weird things sometimes. We can't even handle words. Think you can handle people's thoughts? You think you can handle all that? These are both negatives if you ask me. There's always going to be these people that argue, well, if everyone could just read each other's minds, then we would reach this utopia of openness and honesty in all the human race. There are just things that you should not share with people in general. That's part of why I hate the internet. Nobody can stop sharing with each other every little thing they do and every little habit they have, and I don't personally want to hear about it. Everyone's like, well, but then you could have like this perfect relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't think knowing every single thing that your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend has ever done and them knowing the same about you is necessarily healthy. You know, there are some things that just don't matter, like that one time you just pooped in the tub. Create an avatar you like. Do you think I would actually do that? You don't think I'm just going to get this app and create an avatar that I absolutely hate? Because I just want to be more hateful in the world? This music bombs, dude. You will never die and feel any pain. Okay, this should be or first of all. Please get through 5th grade at least before you make questions on here. But you will love to kill. Congratulations, all the people who hit yes. Over half the people that played this value themselves more than others. That is fantastic.
Bruh, this game is so hard. I've grinded for so long, and all I have is one purple hero. You don't need to grind in this game at all. Enter the CD key 888888 when you log in.
Guy, I've been playing this game, mate. I can't beat the game. I can't get far enough. You don't need to play the game. Just put in this code. There's no need to play the game. Can't wait to download this game. Not to play it. You forget the worst thing that has ever happened to you, but you will still feel an emotional weight of it, but not know why. What? This is horrid. Like, isn't the purpose of not wanting to remember something horrible that happened to you is so that the emotional weight will go away? Like, then you lose. Like, these should be switched around. Wait. No, but, like, okay, let's say you have something really horrible happen to you. You get two things out of it. Maybe you have the pain and suffering and the PTSD and bad memories from it, right? That's no good. But you also probably learn something from it. It's part of your life experience, part of who you are. So depending on the situation, there can be a bit of a trade-off there. In this situation, you just get the bad part of bad things that happen to you. Like, do people who do this, submit these things, have any concept of life and how life works? As someone who sits in my room yelling at a camera quite a bit and does a lot of really stupid projects, I sure do consider myself superior to these people. That was too even. I was joking before, but I literally do now consider myself to be superior to most of the people on this app. Oh yeah. You've taken time out of your day to advertise to me things that I already browse. This is from my browser history. Such a waste of marketing space. We act like AI is so powerful and that Google just knows everything and knows what it should advertise to you. It's still pretty dumb. You can sleep as long as you want forever, but you will never awaken feeling rested. So there's no point to this sleeping at all. What is the point of this? Like, is anyone sitting around being like, I just wish I could sleep longer, besides for the fact of getting more sleep to feel more rested? Like, does anyone think to themselves, alright, I get a pretty good sleep at night. I feel pretty well rested. No complaints there. But I wish I could just sleep longer just for the sake of sleeping longer. Like, I guess it could pass the time. You'll never awaken feeling rested? That's Like 3-year-olds. Absolute 3-year-olds. You will find your cat, Marvin, but you will lose him again as soon as you find him. I don't have a cat named Marvin. I don't want a cat named Marvin. Person you hate dies, but an annoying crying baby will be heard in your head for 10 days following nonstop. Now, I know that there's some people do some pretty horrible things, but the general population who haven't had any really horrible things happen to them. Let's say you have someone you hate, right? Justin Bieber, sure, we'll take that as an example. You can hate Justin Bieber. Do you really want him to die? Like, realistically speaking. You have a built-in world editor that you can summon at will. You can modify anything and everyone at will, including yourself. But you'll not be able to play video games or use the internet for the rest of your life. We're gonna have something different eventually, right? Technologically speaking. There's always these questions. You can get endless money, but you'll never be able to use a smartphone again. You do realize that like 100 years from now, we're gonna have something else. I know the internet is this revolutionary thing, but eventually we'll just have the databases in our head, and it won't be the internet. It'll just be local. Or something. I don't know. We'll reach some kind of different technology eventually. Could you imagine if this game was made like 40 years ago, and the questions were like, alright, you get to be immortal, but you can never use your cassette player. Ever again. How could we live without our cassette players? Oh my goodness. You get unlimited Wi-Fi everywhere to go on Tumblr infinitely. But 1 minute in Tumblr time is an hour in Earth time. For one thing, we have Wi-Fi everywhere now. I know we don't. I made a whole video on that. But like generally speaking, if you want to go on Tumblr, you could probably just pull out your phone and do it. And for another thing, Tumblr? Yeah, very long time ago. 5 years ago. Very long time ago. Does anyone use Tumblr? This is just the cassette question that I made up. You have the power to change genders whenever you want. This process is extremely painful, and you will be incapacitated for a few minutes after every shift. I wouldn't personally want to use this, but like, there's not much of a downside. You could just not use the power. People who do not push the button are idiots. When the entirety of the negative side of this choice... Oh, this guy just went in. Don't worry, buddy. I'm making a whole video on your behalf. Don't worry about it. Okay, I can't handle any more of this game. Tis been fun. In conclusion, I pretty much never push any of these buttons. Now, some of that is due to personal belief. Things like immortality, reading people's minds. I personally disagree with those things. Because this entire app is about those questions, I personally never choose yes on pretty much anything at all. Unless it's like, you get good food, but you maybe have to wait 10 minutes for it to be delivered to you? I'll leave you with a complex would you push the button of my own. You will see a funny video game glitch, but you will die. Let me know if you guys would push the button. I personally disagree with video game glitches, so I definitely won't, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. This is just a tactic to get you guys to leave comments. Don't do it.